Alright, now we're ready for the second layer of mottling. We already have our first layer, the purple layer, done and heat set. So the second layer, we are going to use the Bountiful Baby Lip, Nail, and Blush red color. I'm not sure what number this is in their steps, but we're going to use this color by itself. And for this layer, we are I made this kind of sponge, one of the wedges. What I wanted to do with this one is give it the impression of the red veining. I kind of wanted to do something, make a sponge that I could kind of cut out doing all the little tedious work. So I wanted to make something that would replicate kind of like the red fine veining underneath the skin. So this is the sponge that I'll be using for this. So I have a total of 3 different sponges that I used. 2 I made, but once you figure out, you know, there's other artists that use 10, 15 different types of sponges and different color layers, and to me, I think a lot of that is just unnecessary. I only use like certain different colors out of my norm if I am looking at a picture and replicating the coloring in the picture. But other than that, this is my base steps that I always do for my babies, and I will, you know, usually I will look at other pictures of reborns, and if I find one that I like, I try to do similar tones, or if I see a picture of a baby that I love the skin tone and want to replicate it, then I will try to match. But other than that, this is my base procedures, you could say, on making a baby. So, and we don't want this bright red. It looks dark in the video than what I actually see. And with the different patterns on the sponges, it's going to be breaking up any repetitive patterns that you have made, because they're pattern on top of pattern. Let's see here. Now if you look here, you can barely see it, but I'm going to start putting this pattern on top. And I'm going to go over the same exact areas that I did with my other sponge, and still avoiding the same areas that we're not going to get mottling on. And as you can see, this does not scream red. So we're just getting that translucent color pattern over the one before. And I know a lot of other tutorials or things online teaching you how to do reborning, how I learned it. They have you do the skin layers first and then the mottling over the top. And to me, it makes more sense to do it how your real skin tone is, where the mottling is underneath your skin. It's not on top. And your veins are not on top either. If you want more pronounced veins, you can do it on top of the skin tone, but it should work fine after all the mottling layers and before your washes. And then just kind of move it around to make sure that you see it wet in all the areas, showing that you've covered. And then nose and ear to place it down. And the best way to do a belly plate, in my opinion, so that it doesn't lose shape, is to put it on a paper towel roll in your New Wave. I've never used my kitchen oven to do babies. I'm too scared. It's a gas stove. I'm afraid I'll burn something. So I have a lot of these extra cosmetic wedges in my New Wave that I use to prop pieces, and I just prop wedges underneath each side to keep it in place and bake it, and that's why it keeps its form. If not, it gets all wonky and it drives me nuts. Again, do not go over the nipple area. You just want to go around it and frame it. I don't know if you can see the pattern that it gives over the top. And I'm not doing any distinct pattern. And as you can see, I had enough paint on my sponge to do the whole belly. As you can see, that's not, it's wet now so you can see it, but that's not screaming red or purple. It's nice and translucent, but you can still see it. And then once we put the skin tones over the top, you'll still be able to see the layers beneath to give the realism of real skin. So I will finish up the rest of the limbs, same as before, and then bake them, and then I will be back to do the third and final mottling layer before we do the veining and then the skin tone layers.